All right, so we are live. All right, live again. This is Dig the Falls. We're trying to get on every Tuesday at 7:30. I have Donna on with me right now. I'm Ed Smathers, founder of Dig the Falls. We've been around since 2005. We're trying to just get something going here that we can create some communication with our community and maybe bring up some topics that everyone can appreciate. So we're going to be talking waterfalls, some hikes, and also the New York State Adopt-a-Trailhead program that they just rolled out or are going to be rolling out very soon. Donna, you said that you hadn't really read up on it too much, right?
I didn't know, but I'm very intrigued by it.
Yeah.
I think it sounds great. We're hearing, especially last year, everybody out on the trails.
Mm-hmm.
Why not, if you're going to be out there, do something to benefit them?
Yeah,
do something to benefit them. And, obviously like leave no trace and trail etiquette and things like that. But why not let people know that these opportunities are out there? And I like seeing that more and more organizations are launching programs like this.
Absolutely.
A couple of years ago, we did the New York State parks. I love my park day. And it goes all the different regions through New York. And you can pick the park that you want to help at. And they have all sorts of different things you can help with. Some it's just cleaning up. Some it's painting. Some planting of flowers, trees, shrubs. It varies by different park. And they've had to structure it a little bit differently this year as far as the COVID regulations. But I'm glad that they have it back, and I'm a big fan of New York State parks. But that one is great. Then I've also seen like an Erie Canal Trailway doing some kind of program like that.
Yeah, I saw something like that, but I hadn't really seen much. And it would be nice for these groups to be able to kind of get the word out there a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because you see like little tiny tidbits every once in a while. And you almost tend to forget about them because it's hard to kind of, keep that in the forefront of all the other static that's going on right now.
And if you only get it through email and you don't see it on Facebook and whatever, like how do you know about it? And I get it just because of emails. But I'm glad to see different programs coming out like this, just given the explosion in popularity of people being out on these trails.
Well,
teach them what to do.
and
how to behave.
Exactly. And what it sounds like they're going to do is kind of like the Adopt-a-Highway program where, they have someone choose like which area they want. It has to be somewhere close to their locale so they can keep up with the specifics. And I did kind of read an article real quick before I jumped on here. And basically what it sounds like is they're going to give you some training, online based training so that you know what you're going to be doing and how to do it. They'll do some, I would say some medium paced, leave no trace, training as well. They teach you how to interact with the trail goers and what to do, what not to do. It sounds like. The one thing that I found interesting is, what I would find interesting is you can actually sit in with online meetings with DEC officers so that you can.
That would be awesome.
It's like a question and answer session. Ask them questions and then bring up topics that maybe they're not aware of, so you can kind of learn from that. The one thing that it may be kind of a norm for this type of program, but kind of was off-putting to me was having to check in. I believe it said monthly. You had to check in and give them stats and how much time you spent at the trailhead and, how many people you saw and things like that. I would find that a little bit tough to have to do.
Yeah. Some people might not want that level of commitment or obligation, I should say. That level of obligation associated with it, that they're interested in it and let me do it how I want to do it. But I also get, if you're putting this official program together, you kind of want to establish some boundaries and expectations.
Right. Yeah, you want to make it official if you're going to put something like this together.
Right. Not just go out and do whatever you want to do. But we need you to do it within some parameters here. So,
and especially, it sounds like they're going to roll it out across the entire entire state. I'm not sure the breadth of the trails that they're going to be covering, whether it's going to be actual official New York State recognized trails, I would assume, because I mean, I can't imagine how many tens of thousands of trailheads there are in the state, if you count all the small ones too.
Right.
So that would be a little tough.
That would be a little tough, but it sounds interesting. I think just because we've seen so many people start to get outside, but the detrimental side of that.
Yeah.
But, given that I'm in the western part of the state, we have the Finger Lakes trails out here and all the miles that they cover. And I know they have trail maintenance crews that, take stewardship of certain segments of the trails.
Right. Yep.
And I think the users of the FLT tend to be pretty respectful, but you're going to get people who are new to it and don't realize certain things, the privilege the hikers have by being on that trail, because you go through a lot of private property and what the owners of that land are allowing you to do. But
a lot of people don't.
As Spider-Man said, with great privilege comes great responsibility.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how many acres or miles of that trail are actual private land that you're walking through. I don't know for sure, but I'm sure it's at least a third of the trail system is
I would think
land.
so. I would think so.
Yeah,
but,
it's pretty amazing.
It's just as I like that they're encouraging people to get out, but okay, now that you're out, you need to realize what goes into keeping these trails and keeping this accessible for people. And,
exactly.
Take pride in ownership of this resource that you have. I think it's a great program. I'd be interested in finding more out about it.
Yeah, I spoke to Carl briefly before this today, and he did kind of bring up a little bit of concern from his side. He was thinking maybe from a pessimistic standpoint, you could see where the state would possibly be offloading some of their responsibility in maintaining these trail systems and finding other ways to delegate it without with minimal economic impact to themselves, basically. Is kind of what it sounds like. And obviously that's a little more pessimistic way to look at it, but it's true.
It's true. It's realistic. I mean, I know the state resources only go so far, but you can't offload this onto the general public.
A bunch of groups.
Right. And somebody puts together a group, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It has some potential, but I also see you got to understand and help mitigate some of those risks that go with it too.
Yeah, I think that the upside is actually way bigger than the downside of the program. Actually, kind of creating ownership or whatever to these trailheads, and then those people that are there adopting those trailheads can actually talk to the people that are walking in through the trailhead. So it's kind of nice as well. I'm sure there will be some problems because some people just are not people person.
They aren't, but also people don't want to hear somebody else tell them to pick up after themselves.
Yeah, I don't need another mother.
To tell me what I should do, and that's not mine. I didn't leave that. They don't want to hear somebody else telling that. So, as an educational steward, I would say you need to be comfortable in that role. I don't know if I could do it. I might be a little bit too blunt.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, there's a certain amount of forwardness that you would need in that position. Not having to worry about someone getting a little, upset with you. So. I don't know if
the right way to approach it, the right language, the right attitude to go into it. My mom and I had gone out for lunch a few weeks ago, and just in the parking lot, somebody just dumped all this garbage. So it's
horrible.
From where we were parked, I drove over and I picked it up, and the whole time and mumbling under my breath and
yes.
but I'm doing this for the better. But
it's crazy though, because like every time we go to a parking lot with the kids, like right away, as soon as they jump out of the car, they're like pointing at the cigarette butts, they're pointing at this, they're pointing at that, and I'm like, I have to tell them, don't touch it, because you don't know what's on that. I mean, it could be almost anything. And honestly, right at the Indian Kill Preserve down the road from me. I went there over the weekend and cleaned up a little bit, and while I was looking for mushrooms and stuff, foraging, I actually noticed a crack pipe at one of the trailheads. It's like, it was broken and little pieces and stuff, and I safely picked it up and disposed of it. But it's like that's like in kind of like near a couple of small towns. It's not like you wouldn't expect something like that. So you never know
this
what
was just like a shoebox and like some empty Starbucks cups, or actually they weren't empty. There was still stuff in them, like the carry tray, and it's like a bag from whatever takeout restaurant. I'm like, seriously, like there's a store right there. There's a garbage can.
Yeah.
Go throw it away.
Yeah.
So like I grabbed a napkin and I was picking stuff up because I didn't have my gloves with me, but I grabbed a napkin and then I got back in the car and sanitized my hands. Then we went where we were going and I washed my hands. And like, it's just so annoying.
Yeah. And it's one thing for adults that, can, kind of observe the risks a little bit more. But like when you got kids
it's a different story.
You don't want them just walking over and grabbing some piece of glass,
Right.
Could you imagine if one of the kids grabbed that pipe and nick their finger or something?
Nick their finger and you don't know what's on it. And
exactly. Yeah, it's just horrible. Yeah,
that would be way too scary.
Yeah.
So we're teaching the guidelines that go with it.
Usually I tell them, I'll come back later and get it.
But at least they know that it's wrong. Yes. And why people like just put it on the back of your car, like in the cart on the floor, take it home, throw it away. Like, why do you need to leave it in a parking lot?
Yeah. And for reference, my sons are 3 and my daughter is 5, and they know better. So, there's no real excuse for anybody else to be dropping this stuff out, So
nope. I think my mom was a little surprised I did it, but I was like, it just annoys me. And because there were no cars around, so you just saw this garbage.
Right there. Like, that's tough. Right. And it's going to blow everywhere.
Yeah. It was like, no, I'll just leave it better than I found it.
Yeah.
And it took not even 5 minutes. So like,
that's awesome.
I did that.
Nice.
I'm not trying to give myself a pat on the back or, awesome. Like I'm going to, brag about myself, but it's like, it's just little stuff like that. Like, why people need to do that, that's annoying, but also it doesn't take much to clean it up either.
No, and I think that kind of brings up a kind of a point in my head that it's different when you're on a trail, because usually it's death by 1,000 cuts when it's on the trail, because you've got a parking lot has a bunch of people in there, but when you have a singular trail trafficked by a couple hundred people over a weekend, or a couple thousand even sometimes. You get each one of those people that drop just a little tiny candy wrapper, and it's going to look like a Mardi Gras parade,
Yeah.
So,
it doesn't take much.
Yeah. And people don't really, take that into account when they're like, oh, well, it's just one little tiny candy wrapper, which, to a point, I could kind of understand, that kind of mentality. So, but
one person sees that, it's just a candy wrapper. Oh, it's just one can. Oh, it's just one bottle. Well, there was a bottle back there. So what's one more? It's like, no.
Yeah. Or I put it up underneath the sleeve. Nobody's going to see it.
Right. I'll just throw it out far enough and nobody will see. It'll be buried under the leaves.
Yes.
I'll get off my soapbox. I'm not perfect, and I don't always have supplies with me.
No, I don't.
I'm trying to be better about that.
Yeah.
But I am not going to be the person who leaves something behind that's mine. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, and if I have the ability, I'll grab it. One thing, while it's on my mind, I wanted to kind of shoot out there. Everyone, I haven't put a date together on Facebook or anything in the calendars, but April 18th, we're setting up an Earth Day. And it's going to be at Burden Pond. Meet at the laundromat there in Troy. Anybody can kind of reach out to us, info@digtofalls.com, or go to our Facebook, our Instagram, anything, and ask us about it. But April 18th at 9:00, we're going to basically be cleaning up some of the trails around there. And then April 25th, Mount Ida Preservation Society is going to be at the Post-and-Co Gorge, cleaning up the gorge. So, you guys are welcome to look them up, Mount Ida Preservation Association, and check them out. And, it's actually going to be a fun time. I'm going to be at both events. So,
and those are both Sundays, correct?
They are both Sundays, correct. Yep. So, and then, so we're just going to try to get a bunch of people together and clean up all the garbage. So,
nice.
But yeah, to kind of loop back, just, take in what you take out. It's, everyone's got pockets pretty much. So if I can carry an office chair 1 mile out of the woods, I think someone can take some candy wrappers out of the woods.
Yep. So, and put a garbage bag in your backpack and put like some work gloves. It doesn't take much.
Yep.
And, since we all still have so many plastic grocery bags left, like put a few of those in your backpack and put stuff in them.
Yeah, anybody needs work gloves, I'd be more than happy to ship them work gloves. I have no problem, because, I totally get it. Not everyone has the couple of bucks, $5-10 to throw at, a set of gloves that they're only going to use on the trail to pick up garbage. So, if somebody would need that, I would absolutely love to send them a pair. So, all I would need is just a message. Send me a message with your address, and I'd send it right out. No problem. So, I'd be thankful for being able. I'd send some stickers. so
I know the one time I was out, I had taken like a morning to myself, and I had gone down near Letchworth and went to Waterfalls Falls, and I saw garbage there, but I didn't think I had anything to pick it up. So so I ended up leaving there, and I went to Letchworth, and I was putting something in my trunk. I'm like, oh, I have a garbage bag and gloves.
So you actually went back?
I went back. I closed up, turned around, because Wiscoy is only like 10 minutes from Letchworth. I was on the east side of the park, the Nunday side, where the playgrounds are. So, I mean, I have an Empire Pass, so I don't have to worry about paying to get in. But from where I was back to Wiscoy is only like 10 minutes. So I went back, and I had my gloves, and I was picking up a whole bunch of stuff, like the wet swim diapers and yogurt cups, and there was just tons of garbage.
The diapers are the worst.
Yes, like a sardine tin, and so maybe somebody was fishing. I don't know.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
But a whole bunch of garbage, like a chip dip container, and just stupid stuff. Like somebody, wet diaper, throw it in the bushes. Yeah. Right now they're covered with leaves, but in 5 months they're not going to be, and somebody's going to see that stuff. So I was picking it up, and there was another couple there, and the woman had mentioned something that I think it was her sister does the same thing. Like she picks up garbage where she goes. And so she was just asking about it. So I got talking to her, and I showed her the Dig the Fall sticker on my car, and told her about the Waterfall Challenge and the books and all that stuff. So I just use it as a better opportunity to, like, somebody is out here picking stuff up. It's not just being left here. I'm just trying to, be this anonymous person picking it up. But I just
wouldn't you agree though? Like when you see people doing that, or even people seeing you do that, it kind of motivates them to possibly do the same, even if it's just one wrapper or whatever near their car.
Or
when they get back to
even their car. If when they're there, they're a little more thoughtful of their garbage.
True.
That they're going to make sure this visit, they didn't leave any garbage. Maybe it won't last, maybe it will, but if you had an impact at that point, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, even once, definitely.
Yeah, I wasn't like doing it, yay, look at me, but it was like, I don't like this, and this place is beautiful. Yeah. I don't want somebody coming and seeing that, so try to make it better for somebody else.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I can't think of anyone I've met that has ever been like, oh, pat my back, I've done this.
No. No,
most
that's not
times
what
it's
it's
just like,
about.
yeah, we grab this stuff, and like when you look at this stuff, they've got like 12 garbage bags in the back of their truck that they grabbed. It's like,
Yeah.
wait, you just said you just grabbed this stuff, like,
Yeah. There's really that much stuff to grab.
yeah, yeah,
So,
like Stosh, I saw some pictures he took, that he really didn't even, barely threw up online, but I mean, he went to the Blue Hole in the Catskills, and I mean, geez,
was
I
it
think
him that picked up it was a kind of a small parking area?
it
Were
is
those his
well,
pictures?
yeah, exactly. Like he
And it
had
was,
like bags and bags, like it was
yes.
insane. Yeah, that was him. But
Yeah.
he's just like everyone else. Everyone else we know that's picking this stuff up, they're not really bragging about it. They just want people to know that, hey, this took a while. Think about it next time, kind of thing. So
Yep.
yeah,
It doesn't take much. Just take a bag and some
yeah,
gloves.
yeah. So,
So,
but yeah, so I got the boys out a little bit on the trails, which was nice. One of the first times I've had them by themselves, and we met some people, and it was great because Connor talks while Jackson usually kind of stands back and he's not as talkative. And
yeah,
but this time they were both talkative, and these
that's awesome.
two women showed up, and one had a baby on carrying to the front. And the first thing Connor says, "Hi, I like your baby." It was awesome.
Cute,
So
cute.
yeah, so they told them all about the hike we're going to take, and what we're going to do on the hike, and we found garbage and we picked it up, and we
That's
and
awesome.
so yeah, it was pretty amusing to see them communicating with people on the trail.
That's great.
So, yeah. And
That's great. They'll be friendly little hikers.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. Every time someone walks out front, they're screaming out the windows, "Hi, what's your name?" So yeah, they're going to be very friendly. Yes.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, no inhibitions whatsoever. Just what
Yeah,
shouting out whatever
anytime
they
like
want.
we see little kids, like I'll wave and
Mhm.
we'll just talk to them, and like it's fun. I mean, because my kids aren't little anymore. Like my
Yeah,
youngest is 15,
yeah.
so they're usually like, "Mom, this is embarrassing."
Up until I had kids, I was always very awkward talking with kids. Like I didn't know how to relate to them. I didn't really know how to communicate or anything. And now that we have kids, I'm actually fairly decent with kind of coming up with something to talk about or whatever.
I try and see like how the adult is that's with them. Are they kind of, what are you doing talking to my kid, or a little bit more open to it? Sometimes it's just a wave hi.
Yep. Yeah.
That kind of thing. Always judged by the adult.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, is and Jess and I, we're always like uber conscious, because like you start talking to somebody's kid, in today's climate, you can't be, especially like out in the middle of nowhere on a trail, like you can't you just can't start up a conversation with somebody like
you
that.
can't do that. They're a little leery about it, but yeah, well, I gotta let Paige out. Hold on.
Oh yeah, not a problem. Actually, it'll give me an opportunity. So I was thinking today, I've got some extra stickers and stuff. I'm going to offer up some people, and Donna, you caught a little bit of what I'm going to do, but basically, I'm going to offer up some people some stickers, some patches, and it's just going to be kind of like a grab bag. This is the Narrows. This is the. Do you have any of these, Donna?
I don't have that one. No.
So this is for the Narrows, Cascades, and Heritage Trail in Troy. That goes from the Mohawk Hudson bike path, swings all the way through a bunch of trail systems in Troy, passing a dozen waterfalls, and then winds up at I think it's Prospect Park in the middle of Troy. But they're doing great things up there. So, and then I actually have anybody that reaches out directly. I have some kids care bands. They have Dig the Falls and I Love Waterfalls on there, and they glow in the dark, which is kind of fun. Yeah, so cool. So I have like 5 or 6 of those, but I'd like to pass them out. People could just email us, info@digthefalls.com. or get a hold of us through Facebook or Instagram and give us like a PO box or an address that we can send them to, and I'll mail them out. Because we've got some extras, and I just love to see somebody get some enjoyment out of them. So
kids love stickers.
yes,
I'm an
yes.
adult. I love stickers.
You know what? I'm so upset. You showed me that one of the last trail days last year, I lost my Nalgene bottle, and I had like a bunch of like specialty stickers on there. I was so upset. Yeah, I'm sure if somebody saw it, they probably grabbed it up because it was actually a really nice bottle. So,
probably.
So frustrated. So I need to get a new Nalgene bottle.
Yeah, these are ones. Oh, I'm gonna totally forget the name of them, but I have two of them.
Okay.
This one you can see it's a little bit like a red raspberry kind of color.
Yeah.
And my other one's more like a light pink color.
Okay.
They keep stuff cold. Oh, here's the name. Go Active is the name.
Go Active. Okay.
Go Active. But they're steel insulated, so they'll keep it hot or cold for like 8 hours. So
what stickers do you have?
Let's see. I'll start with my 100.
Nice.
Falls.
Excellent.
My other Dig the Falls sticker.
Excellent.
High Falls Gorge up in Wilmington.
Awesome. Yeah.
Lake Placid. We did the Tupper Lake Triad in the winter.
Oh, nice.
So it's hiking the 3 mountains in the Tupper Lake area.
Yeah.
And there's no time frame to it. You just have to hike them and submit a form, and $5 they mail you a patch and a sticker.
Nice.
I have another Dig the Falls sticker. Let's see.
I ran out of those.
My Western New York Winter Hiking Challenge. This is from not this immediate past winter, but a year ago. So winter 2019. Okay. Lake Placid.
That one just closed, right? The Winter Hiking Challenge? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still waiting on my patch and sticker for that one. I mean, there were 2,000 participants.
I was going to say, it's insane the amount of people that get involved with that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And there's this little one hidden down here outside Chronicles. It's getting covered up. Another Waterfalls for Days.
Nice.
Ozable Chasm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's awesome.
So yeah, I just decorate this
now,
with it. So
yeah, now I have to get a bottle so I can redo that, because I've got one old stainless steel bottle, kind of similar to yours, but it just has a screw top. Yeah. And the only sticker I have on it is one of the Dig the Falls stickers.
I kind of first started with that, and then as I was getting the stickers, like I want to just kind of decorate it, and totally. Like these always go with us on hikes. So
yeah, I
mean, because it keeps the water cold, and I can hook it if I want to or carry it. Like that. So they're on Amazon. Nice. Go Active. I want to say this is like a 24-ounce size.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like $18.
Oh
so.
Yeah, that's affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm partial to the Nalgene's just because like if I get it and I lose it, I don't feel too badly.
Yeah.
And I don't mind warm water. Like I'm a little weird like that. Like I would rather have warm water as opposed to cool or cold water.
Yeah.
Especially while hiking. Yeah.
It just depends. Like I don't want it like frigid cold.
No.
But I don't want it really, really warm. It's been sitting out in the car warm.
Yeah, it's got like that weird taste to it. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it's fun just to, get all the stickers, and my other one, I think I have the winter or the regular Outside Chronicles hiking challenge from last summer. Yep. And I'm still waiting to get my winter one from this past winter.
Okay. So. Yeah, I'll send you one of the Narrows ones then.
Okay.
And I still owe you that photo bag as well.
Oh yeah. So. The other one that I haven't been able to put on because it's so big is the Finger Lakes Trail for January through March. Okay. They were offering. They were including any hiking miles to go towards the Finger Lakes 50.
That's awesome.
But if you complete 50 miles on the Finger Lakes Trail, that they'll send you a patch and a sticker. Like there's no cost.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You just mail in for it. Yeah. So they said all miles in January, February, March would count. Now, starting in April, it has to be on the Finger Lakes Trail. So if you do 50 miles, you can send in the form. But they're also doing another challenge, so to speak, where if you do 6 months of 50 miles a month, then there's something else they'll do.
Wow.
So, and they have like a 50-mile, I think they have two options, a 50-mile or 50K,
Okay.
an option to do too. So like really
Okay.
promoting the use of the Finger Lakes Trail. And I
Nice.
mean, it's long. It goes from down near the Pennsylvania border,
Yep.
all the way out the other side of Syracuse. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because
it's a,
I might get a little hate for this because there's some pretty extreme hikers out there, but I actually mountain biked some portions of the trail. Now,
mhm.
mind you, this was years ago, and it was portions of the trail that the private landowners had okayed the use
Oh,
of the
okay.
mountain bikes. So, but
Yeah.
even that being said, there are hikers out there that do not they don't
They only
accept that
want
at all. Like,
hikers.
yeah,
Yeah.
like hikers only, and and that's it. so
Yep.
I might get a little hate for that, and
That's okay.
it's understandable.
Yep.
But yeah, but doing that though, I got to see much more of the trail systems
Yeah.
and just the
Yeah.
sheer expansive. It's amazing. They're
It's
amazing.
there was a couple we wanted to do out this way because you have the main Finger Lakes Trail and they have spurs like the Conservation
Yeah. Yep.
Trail. And I know some of the Conservation Trail comes up a little bit this way. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of opportunities, and especially because you're talking more, for me, the southern, what we term the southern tier, like Cattaraugus, Chautauqua, Allegheny County,
Yep.
where you're talking more hills, so there's more elevation change.
Right.
And you get more into central New York, you're still going to get some of that elevation change, but the terrain it just changes constantly.
Right.
And
Yep.
some of those trails are a little bit more flat, some are really up and down.
Yep.
Some
are real marshy.
Yes.
Like those are really enjoyed. The marshy
they're
areas.
just, there's they go through Allegheny State Park.
Yep.
Finger Lakes Trail goes through Letchworth State Park. So
Yep.
that's a little bit more, I don't want to say necessarily level, but it's just a different terrain than what you're going to find in some of the other locations.
Yep.
And you're seeing so much of the state.
Yeah. Is that the east or the west side? East side. Okay.
East side,
Okay.
the Nunday side.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's because it goes under
that's right.
Goes by the train bridge and
Yep. That's right.
Like around the parade grounds and stuff.
Right. Right.
So,
and then it gets like super flat for a little while, right?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Yeah.
I think it kind of, I don't know if it hooks up with the Greenway Trail or intersects with it. I know both of them are right along there, like in Mount Morris. So we have booklets like for all the different trails and Outside Chronicles. With the summer challenge this year, that they have a few ultra options.
Oh, really?
Long hikes from 15 to 20 some miles.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay.
And a lot of it uses Finger Lakes trails. Yep. And what they're doing with the proceeds for this year is some of the funds are going to the Finger Lakes Trail organization.
Sweet. Yeah. And I've seen some of the amounts that he's been able to raise. Man, it's incredible.
It's incredible.
So,
it's incredible,
awesome.
But he's a big proponent of getting people out on the trails. And if we're using the Finger Lakes trails, like, we're going to donate to it. And there's just beautiful, beautiful areas. And some of the trails are just like one small section, some connect multiple sections. And I'm finding out more about it and where some of those trails are and the passport program they have with them to do your little etching at the passport box and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. I wish I lived a little bit closer to all of that, because I think I would be more prone to jump on that trail system as opposed to, the one that they have going from, New York City up here and then across the state and everything. It's, it's a nice idea, but I feel like the Finger Lakes trail system is way more wild than,
I would agree.
Some of the other ones. Yeah. So
I haven't been on the one out that way, but I could see the potential. It's more wild out this way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and don't get me wrong, because I mean, like, if you're walking or biking on the new trail, it's really incredible. Nice and flat. They've groomed it well. Some of the spots are stone. Some of the spots are actually paved as well. So, they've done an awesome job with that trail. But just me personally, I prefer kind of the more wild
Mhm.
trail systems.
You're
And
out hiking
yeah,
next to a road.
yes, exactly.
You're really out there by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're getting more into it. I mean, we have been hiking more the past few years,
Hmm.
just with the kids grown and getting outside and visiting all the waterfalls and that because of locations, it's more hiking and it's just getting us out and doing things. And
Yeah.
I'm finding about all these different trails and all these places I want to go to.
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying it. And I see different emails or people post about different trails. And it's like, I got to find out
Yeah.
where that is. How far away is it? I say, oh, it's 5 hours away. That's not going to work. Or I
Yeah.
plan trips
Well,
around going to these different places.
yeah. And that's a good thing too. You're at a point, almost at the opposite point that I'm at, where like,
Hmm.
you've got the kids grown enough that, you can pretty much, take off when you want.
Hmm.
Whereas I'm kind of like that, where the kids are grown enough that I can actually at least get them out on the trail and they'll
Yeah.
listen. And, getting the boys out this week, on the trail kind of cemented that in my mind that yes, I can go out with all of them.
Hmm.
And it won't be like one of the first times. Me and Carl actually, we walked, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of a mile into the woods over at Burden Pond, and I had the 3 kids with me, and I don't know, maybe a third of the way into the woods I was carrying 2 of them, and because they're laying down on the ground,
Yeah.
they're like, my legs hurt. And I'm screaming I'm screaming at them all the whole time, trying to keep them on trail and not jumping
Yeah.
off of cliffs. So
Yes, it does comes with its challenges,
yes.
but I mean, my boys weren't that little when we started, but it was, I think just the more they do it and
Yeah.
at first, they would complain, but then they realize like they're having fun.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was family time for us.
Yep.
And we're outside, we're away from a screen.
Yep.
Like, yes, I have my phone taking pictures or my camera taking pictures, but
Yeah.
we're not like on a computer, on a video game, like we're outside. And I think especially as many of the state parks that I visited really like from the Finger Lakes west,
Hmm.
that there's so much history
Oh,
out in this
absolutely.
area for the state
Yeah.
parks.
Yep.
And that's what fascinates me, that the Civilian Conservation Corps,
Yeah.
that World
Yep.
War World War One program,
Yeah.
like all the building they did
Yeah.
and the facilities that we have in these parks, they're just absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous. And I think they're so taken for granted
Yeah.
that people don't realize all went into building this, that we have this now because of them.
Yep. Yeah, you mentioned the Conservation Corps, Civilian Conservation Corps, and
Mhm.
I had taught at the beginning of the pandemic. When the economy started getting really bad for a little bit there, I had actually thought, man, wouldn't it be great, to kind of
Mm.
bring that back? But at the same time, with the way like the laws are structured, like the employment laws and everything now, like, would that even work? Like, could you actually
I
get people?
honestly don't think people would do it.
Well,
I
yeah, like, so set aside like people in general, like, cause like that's a whole other conversation too, right?
Yeah.
Like, so let's
Yeah.
start with just from like a liability standpoint and the way that
Yeah.
labor laws are structured now. Like, could you even legally get people on a trail
Probably not.
system, like carrying around rocks for say even 10 hours a
Probably
week?
not.
You know,
No.
no, like, and they had, hundreds of thousands of these individuals out
Mhm.
carrying rocks and digging ditches and creating
Mhm.
rock walls and,
Yeah, I
doing all
mean, really
these incredible things.
building these parks
Yeah.
as far as the stone walls, the
Yeah.
retaining walls, the
Yeah.
bridges, the trails,
Yep.
all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Like we wouldn't have these parks without that. And the ones that come to my mind here, like Letchworth and Stony Brook and Watkins Glen,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Buttermilk,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and I know there's more, but those are the ones
Yeah.
that just popped to my head,
Yeah.
that we wouldn't have those
Yep.
without that work program. And I've
Right.
seen older pictures of Watkins Glen, like these
Oh my
wooded
God.
staircases.
Yeah. Like,
And
oh,
like, oh my
yeah.
gosh.
And people would walk up there and
Yeah, I mean, you're talking women in dresses,
yes,
and,
yes. Oh my
we're
gosh.
going in
Yeah.
hiking boots and totally different apparel. I'm like, it's amazing to see. And part of my head thinks that would be so cool to
Oh yeah.
experience,
Absolutely.
but I can't imagine. Like, I probably would be terrified.
Oh yeah.
I like open, like almost ladder looking
Yeah. Yeah.
stairs.
Yeah.
And
Well,
like,
and
whew,
look, like those photos that you see of Niagara Falls frozen over, and
yeah,
people are like walking across the crest.
yes, yep.
Yeah.
My mind is just boggled. Like,
Yeah.
what was that like?
Oh my gosh.
And
Having
I don't
responsible
know.
people like walking across a place like that, like,
Yeah.
you know, you don't hear about that one guy that got too close to the edge. Yeah.
No.
you know,
Nope. Nope.
you know.
Yeah. So I
So
mean, I love getting out in the parks. I mean, having the pass, the Empire Pass, we go all over the state,
yeah.
and it's kind of we pick our destinations a little bit based on
Hmm.
that, or I
That's
look to
nice.
see if there's a state park. Like
Nice.
when we were on vacation a couple years ago, we did we're like Watertown on the Thousand Islands,
Okay.
and the waterfalls like on that side
Yeah.
of what would be like the western. I don't think it's really considered the Adirondacks, but like
Eh,
that western
not
region,
really.
kind
Yeah.
of, but
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So all up along the Thousand Islands and like the St. Lawrence and all that, like
Hmm.
there's a ton of state parks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all we would do is just go in and eat and play around and leave, and then we might go
Nice.
to another one because we don't have to pay because it's part
Yep.
of that the fee of the Empire Pass.
Yeah.
Or
What's that cost?
I want to say like the first time you get it, it's like $85.
Okay.
But you figure most state parks are probably about $8 to $10
Yeah, something like
admission.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're talking like
Maybe
eight.
six.
Yeah,
But
some of them are 6. I think
yeah,
Letchworth might be 10.
I
Watkins
think
Glen
so.
might be
Yeah.
10. It just
Hmm.
depends on the park, but
Right.
anywhere from like $6 to $10.
Yep.
So if you have anywhere from like 6 to 8 visits and you're
Yeah.
paying that price, like it's going to pay for itself.
Absolutely.
But then when you have it, they'll send you an email. Do you want to renew? And if you renew, you get a discount.
Nice.
So they do a renewal discount. If it was in January, I want to say we got it for $60.
Okay.
And if it was before, I don't know if it was February or maybe mid-March, it
Yeah.
might have only been like a $10 discount.
See,
But
still though. Wow.
yeah, $60, that's it. And even if I don't use it, it's still going to the state park, so
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Right. Yeah.
But I can go down to Letchworth anytime I want to and not have to worry about having that $10
Yep.
to pay the admission.
To be honest with you, I wish I had that when I was a kid because I used to go there like almost every weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
So luckily
Yeah.
enough, my buddy knew the guy at the gate, and they'd always.
I wish I lived close enough, but then I don't know if I would appreciate it the way I do
Yeah.
now. And
Nah.
my husband just keeps asking me, like, what is about Letchworth? Why do you always want to go there? Because it's about an
Why
hour and a half
not?
drive for me.
Oh, okay.
And which is still a drive,
Yeah.
but to me, like I go to a different area every time,
Yep.
and it's so different.
Hmm.
And I typically go to the areas that are not well populated.
Right.
So
Right.
to me, it's far enough away to be away, but
Mhm.
I'm still close enough where it's not this all day drive.
Yeah, and even if the park is packed, there are
Mhm.
still plenty of
There's
areas
still plenty of
inside.
places
Yeah.
to go. And that one, I know there was so much history there.
Yeah.
And I just keep finding out more and more about it. It's fascinating to me. So
Absolutely.
that part of me is coming out that I want to get outside, and I'm learning all these different things. And that's where I'd rather be
Yeah.
than stuck inside. So
Yeah.
plus
I'll
I can
tell
take
you.
my camera and pictures and be
Practice.
happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I know what surprised me was getting up into the Adirondacks, some of the, what I thought were out of the way waterfalls,
Mhm.
like High Falls. I forget what town it's in, but you have to drive down that's like kind of very small dirt road, and it's like dead ends at like the bridge that they took out. I can't remember what town that's in. So I think it's over by Kings Falls. Same kind of area.
Oh,
Um,
I could probably think of it, but I can't remember right now.
yeah.
There's so many high falls.
Oh my gosh, right. So, but that one in particular, I thought, there can't be anything really nearby here, of great interest. But walking into that waterfall, you're literally walking through kind of like the remains of some of the mills that
Mhm.
kind of lined the creek to use it to power the mill. And like, you barely could tell because there's so much moss and everything, kind of built up over everything. But I always found that just really amazing, being able to see that.
Yeah, that history too.
Yeah.
The different places we've been, like Rensselaerville.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Seneca Mill Falls.
Yep.
It connects a couple of the Finger Lakes.
Right.
All the mills that used to be around there.
Yeah.
That pretty much anywhere you go in one of those really small towns, there was a mill there.
Yeah.
And
right.
It's fascinating to me to see that history.
Yeah.
And some are able to preserve it, some aren't, but you just look around and see, like, they would have used this natural resource for something.
Yeah.
Not just something so pretty to look at.
I kind of wish they still did that to a point, like that, they still had, at least several throughout the state that they were working mills that they made something with, and you don't really, I'm sure, I know that they've got a couple of the mills that are intact, but I don't think you'll ever see them actually working anymore.
No.
If that makes sense,
No.
And that's kind of sad because, that it'd be something very simple that you could put back together. Because the technology isn't very advanced, and the materials are easily sourced. So it just would be really kind of cool to see something like that kind of restored and put back in working condition.
Yeah, and it makes me think this waterway powered a mill of some kind. Like, what was that water flow like? Was it similar to what it is now? Was it more?
Right.
Was it seasonal? I just think so much about that history.
Yeah.
And like all the different kinds of mills, whether it was a grain mill, whether was it Rensselaerville was a felt mill, like all the different kinds of things like that.
The thing is, Rensselaerville and Seneca Falls, like those, they during the summer, like they trickle, like there's not really much.
Yeah, they can dry out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
interesting.
Funny.
It's interesting. So I know. I just learn about a little bit of history and fun stuff like that.
All right. So it's been about 48 minutes. So I think I'm going to cut us loose on this one.
Okay.
As always, I'm going to, at the end here, ask if you have anything to shout out or anybody you want to mention.
I'll say the Finger Lakes Trail, since we talked about that a little bit. That's my part of the state. Check out the Finger Lakes. It's FLT.org, I believe is their website.
Yes. Yep.
But you can just Google FLT 50.
Okay.
I think there's just great trails and really small towns and neat places to explore as you walk those trails. And it's summertime, getting close to summertime. People want to get out more, and just all the miles that covers. I think there's so many easy access points that you don't have to hike this 30-mile section. There's doable sections, and I'm going to say the FLT.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a great one. I'm going to pick two that are kind of closely related. So I'm going to say Mount Ida Preservation Association. They're going to be setting up a cleanup day in the Post-and-Kill Gorge in Troy. Beautiful waterfall. So even if you just want to stop by and not really pick anything up, just stop by anyway. It's an awesome spot on the April 25th. I believe it starts sometime in the morning, but you can Google it or search it on Facebook. And then the second one I would say would be the Narrows, Cascades, and Heritage Trail. In conjunction with us and Mount Ida, we're going to be doing a Earth Day cleanup on April 18th. That's going to start at 9. It's going to be at Burden Pond. You can search Burden Pond, Troy, New York, and you'll be able to find exactly where that is. And then, like I said, we've got some stickers and stuff to give away. So I only have a limited supply. So sorry if I can't give everyone that reaches out stickers, but we've got them here. So, but otherwise, appreciate everyone that jumped on and followed us along our conversation tonight. And I guess we'll see everyone else next Tuesday at 7:30. We'll catch you later.